Capybara, 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 capybara. What am I doing?
Capybara, capybara, capybara.
Capybara.
I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying.
It's an animal.
I know what a
we just found
capybara
the
is.
intro to the podcast. It's just
Oh my god! You have a podcast?
Daniel, compose yourself. Everybody stay calm.
I had a mental breakdown.
Little cheeky fuckers.
Am I dreaming? Because I can't see, I can't read.
are the road Carl days behind us?
I'm going to talk about Jose Antonio Francisco.
You are listening to the Quinn-tessentials podcast.
Hey,
Howdy.
hello. I've missed you guys. I feel like the direction we're taking this is so fun. Like, I look forward to every fucking week because we get to talk about new people.
Mhm.
But I'm also even more excited because we get these like little glimmers of Joe every week, and we're like, this is so great.
I love it.
How was your week?
Fantastic.
Oh, no.
It was fine. I mean, it was great. I'm alive. I'm thriving to the best of my ability. And I get to see you guys. So it's a great day.
It is a great day. We're glad you're here. Welcome back. This is the Quinn-tessentials podcast.
Yeah.
This is a fun episode, but before we get into everything, let's just take a nice deep dive into what Joe's been up to.
Oh, Joseph. Lovely, darling Joseph.
Lovely, darling. So we got a few photos from Joseph. First and foremost, I want to talk about the sassiest candid I think I've seen. It wasn't necessarily a candid. It was just like, how do you describe that photo? Was that Wes he was with?
That was 100% Wes.
Oh,
And I have this vision in my head that they were, because that's from the same night that we forgot to even write this down. The vlog that he showed up in for Tim Sena,
Oh,
I believe
yes.
is his name.
Senna, yeah.
He was in this person's vlog for about 7 seconds, and
What?
Charlie Heaton was there. Yeah, but it's the same night. They were all out having a blast, and they were outside enjoying some drinks. And I just have this vision that this person's like, smile, and he's like, and
Just, like,
I've never,
serving.
yes, 100. I've never.
He might as well have been
I've
going
never,
like,
yeah,
voguing.
strike a pose, vogue.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But can we also take a moment to just acknowledge how handsome Wesley is? I've never seen a full, just like candid photo of him besides just like he's walking with Joe, or like you get a side pic. Like, I've never seen a full on straight photo of
Yeah.
Wesley, and he's handsome.
He's stunning.
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 Stunning. That has become one of my top 3 favorite photos of Joseph because of just the aura of sassiness that he is giving in that. He is giving me life.
You can tell they really feed off each other.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like, so perfectly in sync with each other's personalities. Like, you can tell that they're each other's comfort person, and it's just so fun to see them out and about,
Exactly.
Yeah.
especially when it comes to things like this. So I hope we get more of that. I hope we get a lot more of
should
that.
we all do the Joe pose and on the count of 3? 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
Thumbnail.
Just like an over the shoulder sort of. I can't. Listen, that wasn't the only picture that we got. We
just got one today.
got one today.
Aw.
I have no words, because when I tell you this man that he took a picture with today, I was completely taken aback when I first saw him.
She screamed. Well, yelled.
I did.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Well, and that's the thing, is like, they got to see my reaction real time because of the simple fucking fact that, like, I've been so busy with work today, I hardly really got a chance to get online. And then I get on here and they're like, oh yeah, he has a picture with somebody else. It's with Fabian fucking Frankel, who plays Kristen Cole in House of the Dragon.
Yes.
My heart.
Like, they're buddies from school. They went to drama school together and Lambda. And so they've been mates for a minute.
Oh.
Look at this smile. Stop.
That is a meeting with an old friend smile.
He's
if I've
so
ever-
Yes.
cute.
He's so
That's-
sweet. Like his stylist has really figured him out and he's always looked good, but his fashion recently. We've been
Yeah.
getting such small little peeks of him recently, but like every time you see him, it's a banger every single time.
Every time.
Can I say also that this fits?
Mm-hmm.
It's like more a fitted suit. I mean, it's an event, so of course it's going to be a little more fitted, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
it's fitted. How many
Yeah.
chains?
2 chain day.
2 chains, I was about to say.
So if you've not noticed, I haven't really done a chain forecast. Joe used to have 1 chain days. You know what I mean? But he has leveled up his life so much that his life is now a forever 2 chain day. So
Yes.
We just have to
I
look for
mean,
3-day chains now, for that next level.
And I mean, let's be honest, this is the energy we're walking into 2023 with. You know, we've
Yep.
been in 2023 for a couple of months now, and the truth is that 2023 is a permanent 2 chain day. Period.
2
Period.
chain, yeah.
I was saying earlier, I'm going to add that smile to the bank of, I wish that I could get that smile in one of my pictures when we
Mhm.
get to see him next.
Honestly, wait a second. Wait a second.
What?
Let me
What?
zoom in on this real quick.
What?
No, it's not the same. Is it?
Just so you don't
If
forget.
you're just listening,
So you don't
she's
forget.
showing us the picture of Joe and Fabian,
today.
and I think she's pulling up our group picture.
Because
to
you
see
just
if
said
we've
that
already
you
got it.
want an opportunity to have him smile like that to you. Honey, we've had that smile.
Just gotta find the smile. I feel like daring myself to like tell Joe that he's handsome when I meet him again.
Ooh, that's good.
I'm gonna have to
I
just
think-
try to
yeah.
do it. Be like, you look so handsome. Just tell him like a
Be like, "You
compliment. Don't
look
be like,
so
you
great
look so
today."
handsome. Just be like, you look so handsome. Just so
Yeah.
he knows, and I'll be like, and then I'll get like a really
Okay,
good face.
But
And
if
like,
you do that, I need you to have that exact same hairstyle because you look so like the way you just did that has me like feeling some type of
you
way.
look so handsome, like that.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's the
I would
same
say-
smile.
I would actually say our smile
Is
is
better.
a little bit more. That's a smile of everybody say roido.
And mind you, Laura, you didn't say it at all. Danielle was like, say roid oysters. And I'm like, roid oysters. I'm the only one.
I didn't say it. I
You
just
didn't
kind
say
of stopped. You see how gigantic my smile? I was like,
I know you. No, you looked so cute. Stop. You looked so cute.
biggest smile of my life.
So
It
we
was
can
so
check that
great.
off of our bucket list. We have experienced at least one of those smiles in real time.
Yes.
Our
Real
goal is
time.
to get an open mouth smile the next time we meet him in Philly. So we need to start compiling now.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Philly. I can't wait for
know.
Philly. I'm hoping that we can get one more con in before the end of the year in addition to Philly. But we're just gonna
Also, last thing about Joe, we get a con this weekend.
Whoa.
Where
It's
is he
the
going?
London. It's the
Oh
London
my
Comic Con this weekend.
Emily's gonna be there. Other Brit
Oh
friends.
my gosh.
Isn't Dead Kitty Bones gonna be
Yes.
there? I think. Yes.
And
we have-
Amy, Wolf for Eddie.
Amy, yes.
Amy is also gonna be there.
Don't approach her if you don't know her.
No, yeah. Try to kindly wave from like the opposite side. From like be like, hey, don't
And you're
approach
actually
her.
be like, hey.
Be respectful, yeah.
She'd be
Mostly
like-
be respectful.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're so excited for that. That's gonna be amazing. I can't wait to
Oh my
talk
gosh.
more about that. But if we want to get into why we're here today,
Yes, please.
we decided to go with 2021's sexiest man alive. Paul Elizabeth Rudd.
They all have the middle name Elizabeth. Let's just
No,
face
this
the facts
is
here.
Paul Francis Rudd. Paul
Paul
Francis
Francine Rudd.
Francine.
Francine.
Honestly, yeah. Is his name really Francis?
No.
Oh. Let's see what his
His real middle name is.
So I have a special connection with Paul because he is tied to Kansas City.
Oh.
Yeah. So we'll jump into some facts about him, but he lived in Overland Park, which is 6 miles down the road from me.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
his middle
cool.
name is Steven.
Steven.
Oh, well,
His middle name is
Francine.
Stoffel.
Yeah, it's better. Francine's
Not Francine.
better. But
Yeah.
okay.
I
that's
like
fine.
Paul Francine Rudd way more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if you give a man a female middle name, it just elevates it that much more, you know?
That's right. Where do we want to start tonight?
Let's start with the fun facts of Paul. Let's get to know him a bit.
Okay. Well, we'll start off strong. This man that does not age, the man that has drank from the fountain of youth, turns 53 years old this year.
Amazing.
Wow. Actually, I think he turns, 50. Yeah.
His birthday's-
April 6th.
His birthday's coming up,
54.
right?
April 6th.
April 6th.
One thing that I found very fascinating about him that I did not know is that both of his parents are British, and he was born in the UK. And then he moved at the age of 10 to Overland Park, Kansas, and went to K-State.
He went to Kansas State, K-State.
Mhm.
Whoa,
Yep.
my brother and my sister went to K-State.
Yeah.
Aw.
That's amazing.
So
of
that's
course
pretty
he's British.
awesome.
This all fucking computes.
Yes. There's
Can't get away
always
from-
that British bloodline somewhere in the men that we fancy.
I saw a picture of his mom. She's adorable.
She's so cute. I bet you she is like, she just looks like one of those moms that would bring up pizza rolls and Tang orange juice when you would come over to your friend's house after school.
Or if she's British, little crumpets and biscuits.
In December of 2021, right when COVID started, he became part of SNL's Five Timers Club, which means that he has hosted SNL 5 times
Or more.
Wow.
or more. As of now, I think it's still 5.
Still 5.
Yeah.
I wonder who else is in that club.
Oh.
There's a
God.
bunch of them. There's Keenan Thompson.
Steve Martin,
Yes, Steve
For
Martin.
sure, Steve Martin.
Kristen Wiig.
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey. That's Kristen Wiig was a host on that. She's probably been on there a million
Alec
times.
Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
Tom
Brain,
Hanks. John Goodman.
Mm-hmm.
Chevy Chase. Justin
Yeah, so
Timberlake. Drew Barrymore.
He's been on there quite a few times. He's also done a couple stints on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. If you have not just taken a night to yourself to watch his music numbers that he does on Jimmy Fallon, do yourself a favor and just settle in, because the Teeny Weeny Itty Bitty Beanie song is the best thing in the world. It's so good.
I was so upset because I wanted to come on here wearing an itty bitty teeny tiny beanie, and they're all packed in storage, and I was like, oh.
And then I think he's also done the camp where they're off to summer camp. That skit that he's done with Jimmy Fallon, I'm pretty sure he has, but they're so good. He got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2015. To pay for acting school, he would work as a DJ for bar mitzvahs because he's also Jewish. I love it. Can you imagine him just like, wicka, 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 wicka?
How is he doing? How does it go?
Wicka, 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 wicka. Bring it back now, y'all.
I'm
Hold
pretty
on, let me let
sure.
Nick have it.
I'm pretty sure his name was like their family name was. Isn't it like Runetsky or something like that? Runesky.
No, you're right. Whenever they came to America, they shortened it to Rudd.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I have a fact about him.
Tell me. Let me see if I have it.
Who do you think was his most on-screen kisses?
Jack
I know the
Nicholson.
answer to this. Jack Nicholson. He goes, because he just kept coming in for more over and over and over again.
Well, how could he? It's Paul Rudd.
That's such a good story, truly. So he was in a movie called How Do You Know? And I guess Jack Nicholson plays his dad. And he was talking about this on the Graham Norton show, how the director likes to film things many, many times before. But in the movie, the relationship that he has with his father is like, no matter what's happening, they always kiss hello and goodbye on the lips. And I mean, yeah, that's a great fucking story. And then Helen Mirren was like, do it on me. because the first time he met Jack Nicholson went up to him and was like, and I was like,
Just the smile he did, and Helen was like, hell yeah, kiss me. And she's like,
And you want to know what's crazy
Stab his
is
lips.
just 2 weeks ago, Pedro was on the Graham Norton show with Helen Mirren talking about swerving kisses. And he's like, when you don't want to kiss somebody, you swerve out of the way. And she was like, well, do you want to give it a try? Helen Mirren is out here living all of our dreams. Okay.
she's
Kissing Paul Rudd, kissing Pedro.
Isn't she like in her 60s, 70s? She's like, whatever.
Yes. She was also in a show with Joseph. She was in
Catherine the Great.
Catherine the Great.
She has officially interacted with 3 of the people that we've talked. Has she worked with Cillian Murphy before? Yeah, sure enough.
They
in
did?
a movie called Anna in 2019.
Ooh.
Yep. I just have a couple more, and then I'm going to give you 2 facts about his filmography because I think we're going to jump around and talk about some of that. This one I found wild. In 2019, on an episode of Finding Your Roots, which is a show that invites celebrities to learn more about their genealogy, he found out that his parents are second cousins. So then his response to finding out this information was, so does that mean that my son's my uncle? Like, didn't even faze this man.
He probably already knew.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
He probably must have.
If your parents are second cousins, and we talked about this before, their grandparents are siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How does that not come up at the family reunion? Like, you know?
I don't know.
It's
not normal tabletop conversation.
Listen, back in the day, like, second cousins getting married was not that serious.
Was not a thing.
really
Like,
wasn't.
no big deal. Come on over.
People's social circles were so much smaller, you know?
Yeah. Also, there wasn't 8 billion people in the world back in the day. There was half the amount of people. That meant that you had half the number of people to
choose
date
from.
Right?
So, you know, back in the day, first cousins was a eligible choice for you.
You've really got things going for yourself if you had a second cousin to choose from.
Now there's 8 billion people in the world that you're like, really? That's the best you can do?
Real quick here, 2011, he donated his birthday that year to the American Cancer Society. He had lost his father to cancer, so he requested that his friends, family, and business associates, even complete strangers, to donate their age instead of gifts. He brought in over $50,000 in donations.
He's a philanthropist.
He's a philanthropist.
Good for him.
And he does like all kinds of charity work in Kansas City. And like, that's one thing that I love about him. The last big fact that I'll say before I give the 2 film ones is in 2014, he purchased Samuel's Sweet Shop in Rhinebeck, New York, after the owner suddenly passed away. He was a regular customer as well as his friend Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And when the future of the store was uncertain, they both stepped in and offered to purchase the store. They still to this day all own the store. Jeffrey's wife Hillary, who plays Peyton in One Tree Hill, works there, helps out there. Paul's wife helps there, works there. So it's like the most precious, wholesome thing in the whole entire world. And I found out that Paul is friends with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, which is massive for me because I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So that was really cool. I love that.
Negan from Walking Dead. Shit.
I do know Negan.
Yeah,
I didn't know his name.
No,
It's
I was
okay.
doing an impression. I'm sorry.
I'm just surprised. It was my face. I was very disappointed in her life choices. Okay.
He was like, I was questioning my decisions to do this podcast.
I was like, get me out of here. Okay, last 2 facts. One of the first roles that he auditioned for after Clueless, he auditioned for the role of Jack Dawson in Titanic. He went up against Leonardo DiCaprio.
Do you know the other fun fact about that?
Mm-mm.
He was on Graham Norton, and Graham Norton was like, you're the reason Leo got the role, right? Because Paul's dad worked for Transamerica, so he was like a Titanic expert.
Yep.
So Paul knew all this shit about Titanic and was telling Leo, and Leo was kind of like, well, it's a big movie. I don't know if I really want to do it. And Paul like convinced him to do it, and then he got the role. So I love
Oh my
that.
God, you have a cat. You have a cat. So cute.
How adorable is that? Look at him.
Look at that sweet kitty. He's just hanging
Sweet
out.
little
Oh, it's
baby.
getting cozy.
He's just laying down.
It's getting cozy.
All right. And then my last one is his first big break was Josh from Clueless, which we're all very well aware of.
Right.
But he initially tried out for Christian, Cher's first love interest.
We love him so much more as Josh, though.
Yes, I can't see him as anybody besides Josh.
Wow.
Wow.
So don't kill me, but I've never seen Clueless. And
Girl.
It's not really my kind of movie, but isn't the love interest for Cher, doesn't he end up like being gay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Maybe that's what drew Paul in, like just something different about like, because when you think of those 80s to 90s movies, you think about that jock guy that like that every girl wants, and then that one little thing to like flip the script. Oh, he happens to be gay. I wonder if that is what drew Paul into wanting that role, because it was different, you know?
Yeah, it very well could be.
I love Paul because Paul has been such a constant, you know, and he doesn't fucking age. Clearly the man has a deal with the devil. Truly. I don't get it. I don't get it. I want to talk about his filmography, but I also want to talk about his fucking skincare. What is he doing? Does anybody know?
Well, I tried to figure it out. He hasn't given like a complete lowdown. Like he's not over here going like, I use Tatcha and I use Pharmacy and I use Shiseido. Like he's not like,
so he's gatekeeping it.
He might be gatekeeping a little bit, but the main thing that he did say was sunscreen. He wears sunscreen all the time, and it's not necessarily for the anti-age benefits, but just for skin cancer prevention. So, which is super important. He did end up giving Elizabeth Olsen some makeup tips. He mentioned to use a little bit of concealer under the eyes for just a little bit of dark circles.
God. He's so cute.
I know. Yeah, anytime anyone ever like mentions his like anti-age, he always makes a joke about it, or like him looking so young or whatever. He's like, well, I feel like 80 years old in here, you know, because that's just how he is. But the magazines,
he makes a dad joke about it.
He does. The magazines try to figure it out. They've talked to estheticians, like what he could be doing. He said he used to go out in the sun, and so when you get sun damage like that, it shows up later. So what he could possibly be doing is getting laser treatments and probably regular facials, because laser treatments will help fade any age spots that may come up, or microneedling peels and things like that. But apparently a lot of men and who are celebrities that go and seek that kind of care, they want a soft look, like they want a soft appearance, because that's why Paul still has like these lines and these, you know, because he's not going and trying to like get rid of it all.
Right.
He's just kind of
he still has his crow's feet, which I love. I gotta say, and I know some people want to get rid of them. I love crow's feet. To me, crow's feet is like the sign of somebody who smiles, who's happy.
Yes.
And
exactly.
so I'm a really big fan of crow's feet wrinkles. So he still has them. You can very much see them, but like everything else about him is just chef's kiss. Yeah. I can't even.
They basically just said, he said it's easier to work before the damage starts. So like if you're wearing your sunscreen, you wear at least your moisturizer, that's going to help so much later on than trying to reverse it once it's done. Like sun damage and accelerated age and things. I think at one point I read that he quit alcohol for like a year, and then when he went into his Ant-Man role and he went on his diets, you know, that they put him on to get into his physical shape he needed to be in, that helped a lot too, which makes sense. Your diet, it gets improved, and so does your skin. So he does the J-Lo technique. You got to get 8 hours of sleep, or try. So sleep, get your sleep, and you won't age. So sleep, moisturizer, concealer, SPF, and gatekeeping spa treatments.
And don't forget the deal with the devil.
Yeah.
He made a comment about the year of not eating like pastas and stopped drinking, because it's a diet that he modeled after Chris Evans, because he goes, I copied him, but it's the year of no fun and I hated every second of it.
I keep looking over this way because I have a picture of him just like hanging out right here.
Aww.
Oh, he's so handsome.
Look at him. So if you see me looking over, it's because I'm like blown away by it. I'm like, oh my God, he looks so great.
And if anyone else does care, I guess in Men's Health, he did an interview where he goes more in depth with his like workout routine and his diet, which wasn't what I was researching, but that's out there.
What are you doing?
I'm not like focused.
Yeah, it likes your mic a lot to focus.
Hello?
There we go.
Okay.
There we go.
I'm like,
focus.
Normally hopefully we try and structure the filmography portion of everything a little bit more. I kind of want to talk about like his film. There's so much, right? Like the last time when we did Cillian Murphy, we're like, he's been around for so long. He has so much. Paul Rudd has so much that he's been in.
Yeah.
And there are so many iconic characters that he's done that I can't really say, let's go with this and this and this. You know, you kind of have to talk about. I've never seen him play a character I didn't find likable in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, we saw him as Josh in Clueless, and like everybody was like, oh my God, husband material, please. Right? Why are you laughing?
I'm just looking at the list of nicknames that he called Jason Segel, and I love you, man. And it's like one of the best moments ever.
Oh, I gotta remember that one scene that was, I think they have the extended version of it on YouTube, but it's Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen going back and forth, going, yeah, you know why you're gay? You know why you're gay? And just going back and forth about it. They're playing video games. They're like,
that's probably my favorite quality of Paul Rudd is how he's just so naturally and effortlessly funny. He is just such a chill dude.
Charming.
He's
so charming.
I think I read somewhere that he said that he got his acting career and based his acting skills off the fact that he is charming.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
This is
he knows. He's like, I know I'm charming.
There are two types of people in the industry for me. There are those that if they get canceled, you're like, yep, saw that coming from a mile away. And then the ones that you're like, no.
Yes. I would be shocked if he got canceled.
This man, I don't know what's gonna come of it. I don't know what's gonna happen to me. I would be so terribly upset because like he's so freaking like, and you know what? He's been around for a long time. He knows what works, what doesn't work. He just seems like a good fucking person. But I wanted to real quick before we get into all his characters and stuff like that. Do you guys ever watch Hot Ones, the interviews, like with the Wings?
Yes.
He has by far, I think it's one of those like super quotable moments. What are you doing?
I'm trying to do the butt thing that he does with his fingers.
Does he do butt?
Yeah, so it's like a photo that he takes with his finger over, and it ends up looking like a butt. You see how that's the butt cheeks, and then that's the my hand's just not very big, but no, you're doing like, you're doing like the butthole. No.
Oh my God.
Damn it! Hold on, I'm just.
Do you guys hear what I have to put up with on a daily basis?
I see what you mean.
You see what I'm saying? There's a part in Paul Rudd, he shows fucking Sean how he does it. He takes his finger like this, and then these are the butt cheeks, and then these are the legs, and then he puts it up to the camera and takes the photo like that.
Am I out of focus again for trying to do hello? All right, we're back.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that I just
you're fine.
I remembered
loved
that.
every second of that.
You guys look it up, go on the Hot Ones, and he shows you how to do the butt cheek thing with the photo.
I'm over here like, you mean the butthole?
No, she's over here like, here's the butthole.
Can't stand either one of you. I'm leaving.
Okay.
I was talking about Hot Ones because he has one of the most quotable moments on Hot Ones where he's like, look at us. Who would have thought? And I find myself saying that so many times when it comes
You've
to
said that to me a few times. You're like, who would have thought? Look at us.
Who would have thought? Look at us. Not me.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, I digress. Top 3 Paul Rudd favorite characters of all time.
Probably my number 1 is the character he plays in I Love You, Man. It's so good.
It's the best.
Like, I cannot.
Peter.
Like, the reason I adore that character so much is because it's literally me in a male's body. I stumble over my words. I get nervous. I make up words. And there's a scene in particular when he first meets Jason Segel and he's trying to like be cool and like chill. And he's like, yeah, man, like we should get together, blah, blah, blah. And Jason Segel's character goes, hey, man, like it was really great to hang out with you. And Paul goes, I love you, man. And he goes, I love you too, bud. I love you, dude. I love you, bro, Montana. I love you, Holmes. And he just like calls him like Sheboygan and like so many
funny.
random words, and it's literally a
that's
tangent
improvised. You
I
know,
100%.
100%,
And
yeah.
but it's me. Like, you have hung out with me in person. I am that man.
you are Peter Clavin, is what you're saying.
Peter Clavin. Yes. That's probably my number one. My second is the character he plays in Perks of Being a Wallflower. It's so good.
So
it's
I
one of
haven't
the
seen that movie.
Me neither.
It's one of the few dramas that he has been in. The Perks of Being a Wallflower is a group of friends that try to help an introverted teenager become more sociable. And he is part of that group of like adults that help them maneuver through that.
Yeah.
And he takes his typical character, but like elevates it on such a higher level and is this voice of sound for these teenagers. And it is so good. So good. If you haven't seen that, also The Fundamentals of Caring is also a very good drama with Paul Rudd. He's like an in-home health person that is hired to take care of a terminally ill child and takes him on like all of these road trips and stuff. And it's very sweet. Yeah. And then, of course, my third is freaking Anchorman. Like, it's so good. It's so good.
What's the quote that he does? Brian Fontana.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I will say this about Paul Rudd. It's that you see him in so many movies. And this was my experience watching him growing up, right? He's that person, that celebrity, that actor that you've just known your whole life. And you can't exactly pinpoint when you saw him first and you were like, oh, you just started knowing who Paul Rudd was. Thing is, like, you grow up with him and you're like, oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, Paul Rudd.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, he was acting for quite a long time with just secondary characters.
Yeah.
He was adding to the room, if you will.
Yeah.
He really only recently, within the last 10 years, started landing leading roles.
Yeah, that's true. My first role I saw him in was Knocked Up.
I forgot about that one.
He's so funny in that, even though he is just like the husband of the sister of Katherine Heigl, right? Those scenes are so memorable.
The scene where him and Seth Rogen are like tripping on mushrooms and they go to the Cirque du Soleil and then they're in the hotel room and they're trying out all the different types of chairs that are in the hotel room. He's like, man, you got to try this one out.
That movie was, his character and Leslie Mann's character was such a fucking hit that they made a movie specifically for those two. It's called This Is 40.
Yeah.
And I mean, that movie was like, I feel like that was one of those movies that really put him on the map for me now that I think about it. It was I think that was my, there's Paul Rudd movie.
Their chemistry, when I first discovered Paul Rudd, I thought they were married.
Same.
I thought him and Leslie Mann were married. And then
like
so fun fact, Leslie Mann's husband, Judd Apatow, who directed Knocked Up and This Is 40, and Paul Rudd are best friends.
Yeah, that's wild. That is insane because I was the same, Shannon. I was like, there's no way that these two aren't married.
Yeah.
Their chemistry is off the charts.
Yeah. I thought the same about Brendan Fraser and her in George of the Jungle, but that wasn't true either.
Brendan. Oh, by the way, now that you mentioned Brendan, can I just do like a little tiny Brendan Fraser moment?
Yes,
absolutely.
Brendan Fraser has won multiple awards this season, and I've been so fucking happy for him. But yesterday he won an award and he had the most incredible speech. And just him and Ke Huy Quan, just if you get a chance to go on TikTok, if you haven't already seen him and Ke Huy Kwan's acceptance speech at the SAG Awards, emotional. Like, it was amazing. So we'll probably do an episode on them eventually, but I really wanted to give him a little nod now that you mentioned Brendan Fraser and Leslie Mann. Anyways, back to Paul.
I would
say
to Paul. My favorite thing I've ever seen him in, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it might have been the first time him and Reese Witherspoon ever worked together. It was in 1998 called Overnight Delivery.
I've never heard of such a thing. Tell me more about it.
So
I've never heard of it.
Paul Rudd sends a revenge package to his girlfriend who he believes believed cheated on him. Come to find out later, she didn't. So the premise of the movie is him and the girl he did the revenge package with are gonna go stop the package. So it's like this adventure, and the chemistry between them is also really great, which is probably why they end up working together again and How Do You Know with Jack Nicholson. But that was one of the few where I was just like, okay, Paul, he's not just being goofy because this is a comedy. He's being goofy because he's playing a guy that's, you know, he was really with a girl that was out of his league.
Yeah.
I'm not saying out of his league, but like as far as his character, you know what I mean? And then finding Reese to be just this simple girl, just braiding her hair so she has curly hair the next day throughout the car ride. That's so also really cool. Like, you're just like, this girl's just doing her hair on a road trip, and then tomorrow's gonna be beautiful and wavy, and that's exactly what it was. That's the most basic thing to remember, but I did remember that part of the movie.
I want to watch that. Like, I haven't ever heard of that movie, and I adore Reese Witherspoon.
That's the one I was trying to tell you guys about the last time we were recording. Was that movie stayed with me, even though I can't really tell you any exact quotes from the movie or anything, but just the feeling of the movie stayed with me.
Wow. So you can't watch it really anywhere for free, but you can stream it anywhere for $3.
That's not terrible.
No, which is not the worst.
Starbucks coffee costs more.
Exactly. But I mean, my caffeine versus a movie, that's pretty even. Just get drip coffee one day. I promise you'll be fine.
Absolutely not.
What other two roles would you say are your like favorite Paul Rudd moments?
I mean,
Shannon?
I think I would say Knocked Up counts, because that I would say
yes.
Him and his conversation with Leslie. I think he was saying like how he wants to go to like Africa or India, and she's like, why the fuck you want to go to Africa or India or wherever? And he's like, oh, you know, just like, and she's just seeing it as not a realistic thing to think about. Like, that was such a funny conversation. I'll be completely honest with you guys. I did not like Anchorman.
No, that's okay.
Probably because I watch it and I'm like, I understand why this is a 2000s movie, and I understand the humor in it, but I wasn't laughing. And I don't really like Will Ferrell movies, but Paul Rudd was very funny in it. He upstaged Will Ferrell, I think, in his maybe 20 minutes of screen time he had, along with Steve Carell, who plays an idiot.
I love Lamp.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying.
Do you want to come to a party in my pants?
And especially the ending where she's like, are you wearing like Sexy Thunder or something? And he goes, or something. You're like, what was that? And then they're like, host a sex show later on. I'm like, what? Like that was the funniest bit for me, I think. Just Paul was probably one of the funniest pieces of Anchorman.
One of my favorite lines from Anchorman, just real quick here, that I find myself saying on a weekly basis is 60% of the time it works 100% of the time.
60% of the time it works every time. It's interesting that you mentioned that he auditioned for Titanic, because he worked with Leo DiCaprio in Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah,
he did.
He was Count Paris.
Yep.
Count Paris, was that his name?
That is such a good remake of Romeo and Juliet. Oh,
honestly, yeah, Count Paris. Honestly, I've never liked blondes. I've never been a blonde girly. I've never liked blonde guys, with the exception of Jesse McCartney when I first moved here in 2004. But that's because we don't have blonde people usually in Puerto Rico. So I was like, whoa. But
no Puerto Ricans had bleach.
He was Count Paris in Romeo and Juliet, and he was dressed in this knight in shining armor. Or no, he was dressed as an astronaut, actually, at the party that they had. And anyways, I was like, that guy. I want her to end up with that guy. Spoiler alert, she did not end up with Count Paris in Romeo and Juliet.
No.
Well,
she really
don't say.
She didn't really end up with anybody, but you know.
She ended up in heaven. I feel like that was one of those movies where I was like, oh, there's a good looking guy, you know? So I don't know. But like, as Paul Rudd, I think definitely Anchorman. I just realized, have you guys seen Dinner for Schmucks?
Yes.
Yes.
I
so
love
good.
that fucking movie. And
I love when he plays the serious actor.
Movie.
I love when he plays a serious guy, because then he can still be funny. He can still be funny. Yes.
It's so good. Listen, Dinner for Schmucks to me. And they worked together also in 40-Year-Old Virgin, which was like amazing.
Yeah.
So definitely Dinner for Schmucks for me. It was incredible. And I actually really like as the Ant-Man. I really like him as, I forget the name of the character, Scott Lang. I think he's great. He's got this like quirkiness to him. Paul Rudd is Ant-Man in the same way that Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who else they could have cast in that role. But yeah, I'm very happy with it. And then obviously the slap de bass. What's wrong, Danielle? You are seeing something.
I'm just looking through his filmography, and there are so many movies that I am obsessed with that I completely forgot about.
So
Let me just ramble off. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yes.
Our Idiot Brother.
Yes.
Role Models.
Yes.
This Is the End.
Yes.
Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story. Are you kidding me?
Wet Hot American Summer.
Yes. Wanderlust. Mute. Oh my God. I actually just watched Mute a couple months ago when we decided that we were going to switch gears. It has Alexander Skarsgård in it. Can I explain to you what the movie is about?
Yes,
absolutely
please.
not, because it is so confusing. The premise of the movie is Alexander Skarsgård is deaf, and he has a love interest that works at the bar that he works at, and she goes missing. The owner of this bar is Paul Rudd's character, and he's like incorporated into this mystery, and it's just like a very suspenseful movie. But like, I have to find a picture of him in this movie because it is wild. I can't believe I forgot about him in this. Hold on.
I want to know, please. I can't believe I've never even heard of this movie.
Me neither. Also, what is up with I Could Never Be Your Woman with Michelle Pfeiffer and Paul Rudd? What is this facial expression he's doing? He always looks like he's going like, I'm gonna get you. You're gonna be my woman.
This is his character in Mute.
Good Lord.
Oh, yes. Yes. Oh my God, that mustache.
Yes, it is wild.
I wonder how often that man has to shave. Is it like Paul Ham? What is that we call him? Paul? John Ham. Yes, thank you.
I can see, he has like a really good 5 o'clock shadow to the point where you can kind of just see, you know, where he's coming from. like he has to shave pretty regularly.
Right.
There's so many movies that like I completely just forgot about. Oh my God, I see the oh my gosh, Reese Witherspoon was so small in that. She was a little baby.
Right, brunette, Reese too.
Oh, there it is. Mute.
Halloween. Wow. He was in Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers in 95.
Probably not one of the good ones,
I was going to say, I would love to see him in a horror movie, but it looks like it's out there. I just haven't seen it. By the way, can we talk about the cast in this movie, Mute? Paul Rudd, Alexander Skarsgård, Justin Theroux, and Sam Rockwell?
Yeah. It's...
Hello?
Just watch it. I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to tell you guys to watch it. It is so worth it.
Is it good? Because it's got 21% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's not as good as some of his work, but there's a scene in particular where he goes into like this bakery or a diner, and he like starts yelling at the cashier because he doesn't speak English. And he's like, what do you mean I can't get an English muffin? And he's like, got his mustache and everything.
All right.
And then one thing too we can talk about is he's been nominated 10 times for Academy Awards.
Paul Rudd?
Mm-hmm.
For what characters?
He was nominated for Clueless, Halloween, Romeo and Juliet, Wet Hot Summer, Anchorman, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Knocked Up, This Is 40, Mute, and Ideal Home.
Oh my God, he has Leo's career, just all these nominations and no win yet. Well, remember what Leo had to do to get his Oscar? He had to fucking endure winter and crawl inside a horse carcass and just to win an Oscar. But what's Paul got to do?
Hold on. That's crazy. I can't believe I never knew this about him. Amazing. Good for him.
I looked up his filmography, and right underneath it, it says 95th Academy Award nominations. In conclusion, Rudd's films include that he has been nominated Clueless, Halloween, blah, 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 blah.
Wow. Oh, look at that.
That's amazing.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
That's amazing. Man, he's good.
He's good.
He's good. He's a good noodle.
I'm a good noodle.
What else do we need to know about Paul? Oh my God. Danielle, you talked about wanting to see him as a villain.
I just think I have a villain complex. I literally want to see everyone as a villain.
I could see it that like him being like sadistically goofy. And no, I think I see it.
No,
like
a Riddler.
Like think of a bad guy where he's like, oh, you made it. Look at you. Oh wow. Well, guess what? I have more shit for you to deal deal with, like something like that, kind of character.
Like
you saw that
the TikTok trend where it's like, you guys are both here. One of you is gonna die. Who knows which one yet? You know that TikTok trend. You did it, Shannon, where you have to act out that scene.
Yeah.
That type of sadistic villain.
He's gonna live. Yeah.
What kind of films? What kind of role do you want to see him in?
I think definitely. I think you're right on the money with villain. I want to see him. I want to see him as a cowboy.
Joe and Paul riding the horses.
I think I want to see him in an old Western. And I don't really like old Western, but I would love to see him in an old Western
maybe
with a modern twist.
A spaghetti Western.
What's a spaghetti Western?
They're Italian.
Oh.
So if you've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood with Leonardo DiCaprio, his character goes to Italy to play a cowboy, so it's considered a spaghetti Western.
We could always have him do like a space cowboy reboot movie.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, I think a cowboy character would make me really happy. Just to add it to the list.
Yeah. Shannon, what about you?
What do you think, Shannon?
I just want to say, every time someone brings up Space Cowboy, that NSYNC song keeps popping into my head. I'm like, yippee-yi-yi, yippee-yi-yo. Anyways, let me think. You know what? I it's not that I don't think people don't take Paul Rudd seriously, but think about Brendan Fraser and how him getting this whale role, how now people are taking Brendan so seriously. Imagine Rudd gets that kind of role where they're like,
ooh. Hold on.
I think the only thing with that is that Brendan Fraser went through so much trauma.
No, I'm not comparing that situation, but look at Brendan's filmography beforehand. A lot of comedy, a lot of action.
Yeah.
He didn't do a lot of serious stuff. And even though he did kind of get canceled from Hollywood, I know those situations are different. But think of what he's doing right now. He goes from comedy, romance. So did Matthew McConaughey. He kind of did that. And then all of a sudden he's getting these serious roles, right?
You haven't really seen him do his silly roles anymore.
Right. And he's gotten his Oscar, right? So for Paul, I feel like he can still utilize who he is in his roles. How he did, how you explained in Perks of Being a Wallflower. I think if we got to see another layer of that, maybe if he's in a biopic, or if he's not necessarily playing the lead in a biopic, but playing somebody important in the biopic, or some really phenomenal role that is being made to be an Oscar movie, and he's in it, that would be huge.
I could see that. Yeah, definitely.
I would love to see him do that. I would love to see him win something big like that. We love Paul Rudd. If you have not seen Ant-Man Quantumania, it's out in theaters. Go check it out. A lot of people get Marvel fatigue right now, and I totally get it. But I feel like there's this big wave of multiverses and stuff like that. I think it would be really, really great to take a look at it. Mostly because we love Paul Rudd, and I think that Scott Lang is probably one of his coolest roles. So that's a personal opinion. If you disagree, that's perfectly fine. Go watch Anchorman. Go watch How Do You Know? Go watch I Love You, Man. There's plenty of Paul to go around. Did we miss anything?
Yeah, I think that about says it all.
Take it away with the socials, D.
My Instagram is Miss Danielle, MissDanielle. My TikTok is D Young, D-E-E-E Young. And then I'm also in charge of the podcast social. So if you want to check those out, the TikTok is at the Quinn Podcast. And then the Instagram and the Twitter is at God, I almost made it all the way through. At the Quinn Pod.
At the Pin Quad, bitch.
Pin Quad.
Oh, man.
Channel.
Yeah. On Instagram, I am Starry Eyes, StarryYeyes. I also have a Twitter. I don't ever mention that. It's also What's Up Shannon, but I just retweet everything. I don't post any opinions. And on TikTok, I'm the same. What's Up Shannon? Come say, what's up?
I'm at Laura Vanessa, both on TikTok and Instagram. Laura with an H at the end and Vanessa with an H at the end. If I don't say it,
they'll never find you.
Yeah. They'll be like,
me.
Who is this?
Anyways, thanks for coming around. I think next, do we want to talk about who we're going to talk about next? Do we want to make the announcement?
The other daddy.
Shannon?
The other daddy.
Go ahead. Say it.
Penn Badgley. You.
Hello, you.
Mr. Joe Goldberg himself, the stalker that everybody's willing to forgive up until a certain point. So come back next week, and we love you. Thanks for tuning in.
That laugh. I'm your daddy.
Adios, muchachas.
Toodle-baloodles.
Adios. Bye.
Bye.